In this video, I'm going to talk about blood work, natural lifters, and the upper tier of the USAPL. So one thing that in my opinion, I think this would be the way to go is the top tier, at least the pro level of the USAPL, they should get routine blood work. And I don't even know, how often it would have to be, but if even after some of these like bigger meets, after their pro series meets, or even beforehand or something like that, even once, twice a year, I feel like these guys should submit to blood tests, blood work, because I feel like that would clear things up and offer more transparency to the sport. Like urine testing is one thing as far as testing for metabolites in the system and things like that, high levels of testosterone or estrogen or things that may be off. Like that's one degree of doing it. But to me, that's so simple. If we really want full transparency as far as the natural competition is concerned, and I think a lot of guys would like to see that. I mean, we want to know that these guys who have the top numbers are really natural. That's fair. I feel like that's fair for everyone involved, as far as not giving people false hope if that may not be the case, or can clear people's names if that really is the case. So I think everybody wins here. If you are a natural lifter and you're one of the better natural lifters, why not clear your name with some simple and really relatively cheap blood work? To me, I'm no expert on the subject, but obviously this is something you guys know I've been like studying more and more over the last year, health and blood work and all this kind of stuff, as I've gone through this process of coming off everything. It's been 13 months for me now, and to me, I don't have the knowledge of a Derek or a Leo or a Steve, but I think simply testing LH and FSH alone on natural lifters would clear things up, because that's something that's not so easy to fake. If you took HCG, obviously you could raise your FSH and LH levels to an extent, and that would really raise LH levels. But I think the way to go is if you literally just tested for HCG in the system and then also tested for LH and FSH, I don't see if there's any way around that as far as like whether or not exposing if someone's natural or not. Because if someone's not natural, their LH and FSH levels are going to be in the gutter. They're going to be low. They're going to be pretty, at a pretty low level that you can't really fake. Whereas if you're not, those levels are going to be at least, 4+. So it's just one of those things where it's like that would be a very cheap and very effective way for them to verify someone's natural status. I don't know why that isn't being done yet. I understand, they can't do the blood test themselves. They'd have to send people off. But I feel like at least if we're doing like these pro level meets where it's the top, 3 guys, even 2 guys, even top guy, just have the winner make it where they have to go get their labs done, and we can clear some of this up and it's an extra layer of making sure that people truly are natural. Because I can go off Merrick Health, spend $40, that's like the minimum, and I can get LH, FSH and test checked for $40. So it's like a no-brainer to me. Why not just, if you really are natural, why not show it? Why not prove it in that degree? And a lot of, that's a big thing. Like, there is more transparency as far as guys being open about what they're doing, but I still don't believe a lot of it. I still have question marks. And in natural lifting, there is no blood work it's completely unheard of. No one shows their labs. No one checks their test levels. But I'm like, if we're holding ourselves to such a high standard, why not put your money where your mouth is and prove it with some lab work? I'm not even saying go get a full panel. I'm saying get LH and FSH checked and then test for HCG. That'd be like the simplest way to find out if someone's natural or not. And then if we add in other variables, let's say we go up to a blood test that's $100. We could add in CBC, complete blood count. We could add in CMP. We could add in all these things. We could check liver enzymes. We could check lipids. We could check kidney functions. We could check testosterone levels, estradiol, all sorts of stuff. We can make it more advanced, but to me, the simplest thing would be LH and FSH would be the primary indicators. So there's certain things you could kind of get around on a blood test, but to me, LH and FSH, if you're testing for the presence of like HCG, would be very hard to get around. So that would be the most simplified way. Everyone who's a really top tier natural lifter could clear their name right there by showing those things, as well as, even if we could find out who's not actually natural. So I know there's a lot of, we're seeing numbers now in natural lifting that are rivaling those of untested. If you even look at John Hack is thought to be, it's not even thought to be, it's a foregone conclusion. He is the best enhanced lifter in the game, hands down. It's not even close. 2,200 total, 2,204 at 198. He is the best, it's not even close. He's pulling now 904 with ease. He's benching 600 pounds. His natural numbers before starting were around 441 bench. He was at, I believe, a 661 squat and a 694 deadlift on a stiff bar. There are natural guys now blowing those numbers out of the water, which would mean to me that they would be squatting around 1,000, they'd be benching 600 plus, and then they would also be deadlifting 1,000. So we'd be looking at, if some of these top tier natural lifters were to go on stuff, they'd be looking at a 2,600 pound total, which would absolutely blow John's total away. So that's something that kind of, you have to take with a grain of salt. I know it's not completely like, you can't say for sure where they would get to, but these are things that, you raise an eyebrow to. You start to wonder, that's interesting. And there's a lot of, I truly believe there are natural lifters deadlifting over 800 pounds and benching over 500 and squatting over 800 pounds. I do believe that's a thing. And this isn't like to point out anyone in particular. I'm not going to call anybody out. I wouldn't do that. That's not my business. My business is making the sport more pure and bringing transparency to the sport, which is what I want to do. Because I just don't like the idea of not having the transparency and giving guys false hope. If we really want to, create this culture where we know people are being legit about this, let's get some blood work involved. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. You can order it online. You don't have to go to a doctor. You can pay $40 and we can get this squared away. And I just haven't seen that at all from the natural community. So that's something I would like to bring into the sport if possible. I don't know how they would go about doing that, but even if lifters took the initiative to get tested themselves. And sometimes I'll see these lab panels but they exclude the presence of LH and FSH. And I'm like, that to me is the number one indicator to clear your name. So LH and FSH have to be in there. And I'm aware that HCG would be a way around that, but I think that's tested for on like urine tests and stuff. So, I'd hope that would be a part of it as well. But this is just something that's crossed my mind. I do think there are extremely talented natural lifters. And I think, some of these guys at the very top are legit. I'm not questioning anyone in particular or doing anything like that, but I just think this would be a great way to bring more transparency to the sport. So let me know what you guys think. And let me know in the comments. Appreciate y'all.